If you walk up to a roadside tea stall in India today and order a cup, you'll witness a transaction that feels almost weightless. You scan a laminated QR code, enter 30 rupees, and hear a payment alert from the merchant's soundbox. You pay exactly 30 rupees, the merchant receives exactly 30 rupees. Nobody loses a fraction of a cent. There is no bulky card terminal printing a physical receipt, no visible commission is deducted from the sale, and no middleman steps in to take a cut of the revenue. At the checkout counter, the system projects an illusion of perfectly frictionless, zero-cost commerce. This chart shows the macroeconomic scale of these exchanges. In June 2020, the network processed 1.33 billion transactions. By June 2026, volume scales to 22.7 billion monthly. Handling this traffic requires immense resources. Server farms run continuously, fraud systems monitor activity, and banks constantly authenticate instructions. All of that processing power costs money. Yet, at the point of sale, the transaction remains entirely free. If nobody is paying a toll when they scan that QR code, who is actually financing the most robust public payment machinery in the world? To find out, we have to slow down time and look at the digital instruction initiated by that tea stall QR scan. This diagram illustrates the institutional relay required for a single payment. The user's app passes the instruction to a payment service provider bank. Your bank authenticates and debits the account. A central switch routes the message, and finally, the acquiring bank credits the merchant. Every single link in this chain operates under strict regulations. They are legally obligated to maintain server uptime, secure the data, and investigate disputes. In a traditional card network, this specific machinery is paid for through a merchant discount rate, or MDR. That is a small percentage deducted directly from the merchant's receipt before they get paid. The clean, simple interface of a QR code works precisely because it successfully conceals a massive chain of back-end complexity from the user. When this system first launched, it permitted an MDR of up to 0.30%. But in January 2020, a government mandate forced that rate to exactly zero. This was a deliberate policy choice to solve a two-sided market problem. By eliminating the fee, they removed the main barrier preventing low-margin street vendors from adopting digital tools, since they no longer needed to buy an expensive card terminal or sacrifice a cut of their daily sales. Erasing the merchant fee removed the friction for users, but it created a massive economic void. The cost of running the servers didn't disappear, it just had to be absorbed somewhere else. The first financier to step in is the government. They provide a partial subsidy to reimburse institutions for specific transactions made to small merchants. It's a way of using taxpayer funds to explicitly purchase system reliability. The second financiers are the banks. They absorb massive uncovered infrastructure costs because offering digital payments is no longer an optional feature. If a bank provides poor network access, they risk losing the customer's daily engagement and their entire deposit account. The third financiers are the third-party fintech applications. These platforms initiate billions of transactions every month, and because there is no merchant fee, the payment transfer itself operates with absolutely zero direct margin. Their commercial logic relies entirely on cross-selling. The free payment acts as a customer acquisition engine, building the daily trust and frequency needed to sell profitable adjacent products, like monthly device subscriptions, personal consumer loans, and wealth management. The cost of running this digital public good is fractured. It has been redistributed across partial taxpayer subsidies, institutional bank absorption, and aggressive fintech cross-selling. That indirect financing model comes under immense pressure when a network processes over 22 billion transactions every 30 days. At that extreme scale, even microscopic expenses become enormous. If the underlying infrastructure costs just a single paisa per transaction, that instantly translates into tens of crores in monthly institutional expense. To fix this, industry participants repeatedly debate reintroducing a microfee, a charge of roughly 0.05 to 0.07%, applied exclusively to large retailers. This would generate direct, recurring revenue for the network without penalizing the margins of small street vendors. If private firms lack a direct financial incentive to maintain capacity and cybersecurity, an infrastructure network can slowly degrade under its own weight. We often assume a free digital network is competing against naturally costless physical cash, but that's a false comparison. Physical currency requires printing facilities. It requires highly secure transport, specialized counting equipment, constant protection against theft, and massive vaults. Those logistical burdens are extraordinarily expensive. We just don't see them as a distinct fee when we hand over a banknote, because the cost is broadly dispersed across the central bank, commercial banks, and the wider society. India didn't magically discover how to process payments without cost. They built a digital public infrastructure whose benefits were so universally valuable, the state and the private sector collectively agreed to hide the invoice.